Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I am our Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. And today we're going to be talking about an article from PCGamer. And it's talking about the OGL and the fiasco of Wizards of the Coast, OGL 1.1, 2.0, 1.2, yada, yada, yada. So, before we dive into that, there's a link at the bottom of the screen, tenkar-tavern.games / Pathfinder 2 bundle. Huge bundle for Pathfinder stuff. I personally think the $5 buy-in is the sweet spot. You get the 2E beginner box, the Pathfinder core rules, the Pathfinder best gear, and a few other things. But those are by far easily worth your $5. So purchases made through that link. Go to support the tavern. I will pin that as a pinned comment to this video. Dungeons and Dragons has walked back its huge OGL mistake, but the damage is already done. And Wizards of the Coast historic screw-up has changed the future of the entire tabletop RPG hobby. So, last week, the article is here saying I wrote that Dungeons and Dragons OGL wasn't worth fighting for. And Wizards of the Coast, obviously something that nobody expected. They completely and utterly folded on the issue. The predicted, protracted, and probably unwinnable fight between the company and its customers instead turned into an apology for Wizards of the Coast. They backed away completely from revoking the OGL and even released the latest version of the D&D 5e rules under a Creative Commons license. So they go on to say it's one of the most dramatic U-turns in corporate history, and a complete and total victory for those who vehemently opposed the proposed OGL changes, which was, as it turns out, the entire D&D community. So, where does it leave us? Well, they give us a background on the OGL story. For over 20 years, it allowed other companies to make D&D-based products freely. They tried to introduce a new OGL that gave Wizards of the Coast royalties and greater control, and of course wanted to revoke the old one. The community reaction was so universally negative, Wizards of the Coast had to completely abandon the idea, leaving the original OGL in place and releasing the latest version of the 5e rules under a Creative Commons license. What's their next move? So, this is good. We've all been talking about this, but it's nice to see it in writing. When Wizards of the Coast made its advance on the OGL, it had a specific goal in mind: taking greater control over the huge third-party D&D market, and not just control. It wanted insights. It wanted to, if your product was selling over $50,000 retail, right? This isn't profit. If you were making $50,000 in sales on a 5e or an OGL compatible product, they needed to know. You had to report your actual sales figures to them. This was not going to be a tax until you hit $750,000. Then they wanted royalties. But this was to give them insights into what aspects of the market are they possibly overlooking. You were going to do their market research for them. So they go on to say that it also showed its hand in a wider sense. It's absolutely fine to enjoy a victory well won, but it will not be the last time Wizards of the Coast, try some bullshit. And that is obvious, folks. Obvious. As long as players and publishers are tied to D&D, they're vulnerable to Wizards of the Coast decision-making. And we've now seen a clear sign that decision-making can have some pretty repugnant thinking behind it. Wizards of the Coast, and perhaps its parent company, Hasbro, seem to be probing ways to dramatically increase the game's already significant profitability. Folks, we've seen this. We know this. They're talking... When you have Kobold, whenever they're talking about Black Flag, they keep on talking about their 5e alternative that will be subscription free. We know where this is going. Currently in development is 1D&D, a new version of the game that pushes aside the convention of editions. Now remember, 5e was supposedly pushing the idea of editions aside also. Okay, for those of you who've been following 5e, once it was its initial concept, when Monty Cook was on board as the lead designer, his stated goal was, we're going to have a 5th edition, a D&D Next, where you can take your white box character, your BX character, your 1st edition character, a 2e character, a 3rd edition character, a 4th edition character sitting next to a D&D Next character, and they can all be at the same game table in the same party, and it'll work seamlessly. We never got that shit. Okay? But that was the supposed aim of 5e. So, 1D&D will take what we love from 5th edition and create an experience that is not only backwards compatible with the adventures and supplements you enjoy today, but that will evolve the game for years to come. My insight into this, the way I'm looking at this, is that they're going to really push D&D as a digital platform, so it will not be a new edition after this. It'll just change your resources, your digital books. And like 1984, no, this is the way it always has been. Emphasizing the role of both D&D Beyond, a subscription-based site that automates many elements of play, and the new, so far unnamed virtual tabletop. This version of the game was announced in August of last year, and it can be presumed it's been in development for some time before that, which means it has been created alongside the now abandoned OGL plans. If you think that one and the other was somehow separate, certainly not. He goes on to say, I think it would be wise to be cautious about what kind of future 1D&D may represent. It's not exactly a leap to assume it's part of the same philosophy of finding new ways to push monetization and market share of the game. I suspect that they're not so much worried some more about the actual tabletop, the physical tabletop. They are moving to the virtual tabletop. That's why they were so intense about how we're going to block out these other VTTs from doing special effects and doing animation. You can only replicate what could actually happen at your D&D table. So I guess you can have like Doritos and Ring Dings and Mountain Dew, but you can't have spell animation and other wonderful stuff. So, rumors have been swirling about a major increase in the subscription cost. Microtransactions. Plan to increase its reach by integrating AI DMs. They say that Wizards of the Coast is not doing it. Doesn't mean that somebody else might not be doing it for them. Whether that's true or not, it's not hard to imagine Wizards of the Coast seeing the near ubiquity of the service and modern D&D as an opportunity to be exploited more thoroughly. The new virtual tabletop will offer similar possibilities. Wizards of the Coast can secure its position in the market, and that's where things can get ugly. Suddenly be in the company's interest to push against popular third-party VTTs like Roll20, Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Owlbear Rodeo. There's a number that are out there. And it goes on to say, I suspect the process has already begun. The originally proposed changes to the OGL explicitly mentioned VTTs as being subject to the new restrictions, a clause that could have been used to severely hamper the competition. Now, with the Creative Commons opening up the SRD, less horrible examples for that, but they could certainly limit the licensing of one D&D or 6th edition to their own VTT. Right? They're even saying Wizards of the Coast could withdraw its products from the Roll20 marketplace. It is true. It's all speculation. And the author says maybe speculation is cynical. I don't think it is. We know their plans on how best to monetize what is perceived to be, by the powers that be, an under-monetized IP. So, the trust Wizards of the Coast burned in the last few weeks between it and its community should not be easily restored. I don't think it can ever be fully restored. That was, I'm not saying there are the true believers, there's the huge fans, there's the suck ups, They're fine with whatever Wizards of the Coast does. And they're the ones that think, oh, you were lucky you had this OGL. You should never have had this open game license. So just suck it up and be happy with what you get. Taking them out of the equation. If you are a third-party publisher, an independent publisher, creator, consumer who consumes third-party products, you should never trust Wizards of the Coast again. Sorry. It goes on to say, make them work to win you back. The OGL drama is the game's biggest PR disaster ever, and it will have shaken even a Hasbro executive's confidence. But if the players forgive too easily and too quickly, that will embolden Wizards of the Coast to try something else. Now, third-party publishers they haven't abandoned their plans to create the Orc license, still in the works. Black Flag, still in the works. It's a 5e compatible system. I did not realize that Cubicle 7 is working on its new D&D compatible system. I went to the tweet, which then leads to a blog article, and I was like, holy shit, that's impressive. So we're going to have more than one major company putting out their own 5e system. And of course, we have this huge alliance of RPG companies, third-party publishers, that under normal circumstances would not have gathered together. They came together because circle the wagons against your adversary in this case, and strange bedfellows make good allies in this case. And hopefully that continues on in the future. So, will D&D still be the near monopoly? I'm going to say yes. The article says likely. I would say yes. But the grip has been loosened. This is a good time if you're a third-party publisher. I mean, most of these publishers, Goodman, Frog God, Trollord, Paizo, Chaosium. January is the best sales month ever for these companies. Ever. Why is that? Because they were threatened. All right, and that shows a lot to Wizards of the Coast. The money is there. The money, there is money in this hobby to be made. But people will spend their money where they feel it's deserved, not where somebody's trying to suck it out of them. So Wizards of the Coast might have to adjust their methods. Folks, I will be back tonight at 8 p.m. for Gamers Health. We're going to probably be talking about how exercise and maybe meditation can help deal with stress and anxieties. There's been a lot of anxieties over the OGL. Trust me. I've been counseling and listening as best I can to numerous friends and comrades in the industry over the most of the month of January. So, and just because we've moved beyond that doesn't mean that the anxiety and the stressors have moved beyond. We may have my niece on tonight. She's staying the night, so maybe Shannon will join us. Folks, as always, be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. Remember the link at the bottom of the screen. It's an affiliate link. It's a great bundle of Pathfinder 2e stuff. Again, Pathfinder, Paizo, they are doing the Orc license. It's going to be an OGL type of license that is not controlled by Wizards of the Coast. So, all right, folks. Hopefully I'll see many of you later tonight. Looking forward to it.